Hi there, it's topic 5, administrative support duties, where we talk about how administrative workers can support everybody else within the office. They have a specific task, a specific role, and they tend to be the persons that assist our customers the most outside of customer service, of course. So let's talk about it. Of course, welcome to the virtual space. Let's work together to learn, share ideas, participate, and learn something new. The wise always seek knowledge. Administrative support workers. These are individuals who provide support to all areas of the business. And so key support workers are going to be people like your assistants, whether it's an office assistant, assistant manager, assistants, secretaries, whether it's a regular secretary or an executive secretary, who's just a secretary that works for an executive, receptionists, or clerks. These individuals service multiple departments, and they sometimes don't belong to a department, but they're there to assist, maybe in a general sense or in an administrative department themselves. Another individuals that could come in there could be, depending on how big the company is, mailing persons or telephonists could also fit underneath these administrative support workers. They do a lot of work as it relates to greeting your customers and making sure that the customers come into a good experience. They play a big role in welcoming guests, and like I said, improving goodwill to the public. Goodwill being the way that the public perceives the company. And so as a result of this, it's worth mentioning that one of their biggest roles is maintaining relationships. And so they are tasked with managing relationships internally and externally. We have to give some tips related to that because maybe that's not the easiest thing, or maybe you're asked a question about what can a receptionist do or what can office workers do to maintain relationships. And so as it relates to maintaining relationships with individuals, whether in the company or outside of the company, you want to make sure that persons feel welcome. You want to greet visitors politely. You want to seat them politely as well. Maybe you don't want to have them standing for a long period of time or just standing in front of you without addressing them or saying hi to them. You want to direct them where they need to go. Maybe they want to use the bathroom. You show them where the bathroom is, or they came to meet somebody, you show them exactly where to go. And then, of course, normally what also happens is you have them log their visit so you understand who they are and who they came to so that you can better assist them. And so with office workers, you want to make sure you display a positive image and goodwill by doing things like keeping the front area or the area that you're responsible for, keep it neat and tidy, because nobody wants to walk into a disruptive office, a disoriented office. You want to dress appropriately because you want your goodwill being that you're the front of the business, you're the face of the business. And so you want to make sure you're dressed appropriately. You want to make sure that you're polite and you're courteous, no matter how busy you are, how many tasks you have going on. And of course, you don't want to judge visitors, okay? A big part of receptionist duties, which is what we're going to talk about next, actually involves making sure that you maintain the relationship for however long that visitor is present to your company. So now let's talk about receptionists and the duty of the receptionist. When we look at any big business, because normally small businesses may not have the staff to have somebody responsible for just sitting and waiting on visitors. But in a big business, you have a central area where all visitors come to, and they're normally greeted by someone who's considered to be the receptionist. The receptionist is the first person most visitors will see, and therefore there are certain things that they're responsible for and certain ways that they should handle themselves as the forefront person for visitors. And so some of the tasks of receptionists are going to be receiving and screening visitors, problem solving, introducing visitors to persons they came to visit, maintaining a reception register, answering phone calls, receiving mail and letters, and filing. When we talk about all of these duties, they're very important to the business because they make sure that visitors know what they're doing, know where they're coming to, and make sure that we are aware of who's in the actual business establishment at all times. That's the duty of a receptionist. When I say screening visitors, what I actually mean is that receptionists have the task of identifying who is this visitor, why is this visitor here, and who has this visitor come to. That's very important because could you imagine just letting any and everybody into a business establishment? For safety reasons, it's not the best idea. And you can imagine the chaos that would cause for individuals roaming around. Business secrets could be released, information could be compromised, and so on and so forth. That's why it's important to screen and know why these visitors are here so that if they need to see someone, they can see the right person. And if there's something that they can't be helped with, you can send them out and they can be directed where they need to go. Problem solving, there are a number of problems that are going to come up in the receptionist area. And as a receptionist, you're going to have to be able to solve some of those problems yourself. For example, oftentimes people have appointments and let's say an individual comes in without an appointment. What do you do? A receptionist needs to know that there's a certain way to handle persons without appointments in order to make sure that they are not disgruntled and that they don't cause a problem for the work environment. They're going to be maintaining documents or listings such as the reception register, which if you've been to a doctor's office or a dentist's office, oftentimes you'll see they always have a reception register with you signing in as the visitor, saying who you are, what day you arrived, the time you arrived, what time you left, and who you came to see. All of that is handled by your receptionist. Depending on how big the company is, the receptionist can also take phone calls, receive small mails and letters, help with filing, help with organizing everything in the front space. And of course, making sure the reception area stays clean. Those are your main duties of the receptionist. When we talk about traits of receptionists, some attributes are needed to fill this role. And so receptionists we expect to be well groomed and have a nice, neat, and clean personal appearance. You don't want to look at somebody who's not properly dressed, their hair is not properly fixed, they don't come off as appealing. Normally, you see receptionists are very appealing because they're the first person the visitor is going to meet. They should have a good attitude, a positive attitude, and that is going to be shared with the customer, hopefully allowing the customer to have a good attitude in return or feel positive about the experience itself. They should be willing to use initiative. Things are going to happen, and maybe they don't need somebody telling them, hey, you should clean up your area, or hey, you should answer the phone, even though the phone has been ringing. Maybe you should check to see if that person is okay. Is this person still waiting? Why is this person still waiting? The receptionist should be thinking ahead to make sure that customers and visitors are always made to feel special and made to feel as if they matter. They should have a lot of tact. They should be able to say things in a way that makes customers feel good, not bad. Even if it's a negative message, they should be able to display that and express that in a way that makes the customer feel as good as possible based on the situation. They should have great communication skills. They should have excellent listening skills and be able to handle conflict. Not all times is a person coming into the office coming for a positive reason. Maybe they have a complaint. Maybe they're frustrated. A good receptionist and front office worker would know how to handle these situations and de-escalate the customer, not make it worse. They should know when they've done all that they can and when it's necessary to call backup or call somebody to support. They should know who to send them to in the event that there's a problem. All of these are things that are expected of receptionists as it relates to their traits. Next, we'll talk about a big part of receptionist jobs, other than meeting with visitors, but taking appointments. When it comes to persons visiting, oftentimes you're going to find that they're visiting certain individuals, and normally appointments have to be made. Appointments not only are kept by receptionists, but sometimes secretaries of executives or secretaries of individuals keep appointments for their bosses. And so a big part of that is keeping an appointment register to see who has actually came or who came to the business to meet at a particular time for their particular appointment, what time they came in, what time they left. And then keeping an appointment book, which shows the person keeping appointments for another individual, what appointments does this person have on a daily basis. This allows the receptionist or the secretary to be able to book new appointments. If you have a reception book and you know, okay, my boss doesn't have any appointments from 10 to 2, then I know that I can schedule a person that wants to make an appointment between 10 to 2. So this is a brief idea of, you've seen this before, a reception area on a receptionist register, where a person just come in and they make a note of who they are, who they came to see, when they came to see, whether or not they had an appointment. And so it's very helpful when a business wants to know who is actually present in the building. Because let's say an emergency happens, you can go to a receptionist area and see John Doe came in at 12 o'clock. Oh, but he left already, so he should not be in the building. So we don't have to worry about him. That's important as well. Here is an example of an appointment book, which is pretty empty. But as you can see, what it does is it allows you to fill in times for appointments based on times that are being scheduled, whether it be on the phone or in person. Somebody comes in and they want to make an appointment with your boss for Tuesday. Well, I should be able to look at my Tuesday calendar slot and see, okay, he has no appointments on this day. Let's make an appointment for a particular time. And so as a receptionist, as a secretary, it's important to know what times are free and what times are not free. Maybe your boss doesn't come in until 10 o'clock, or maybe they don't want to take appointments until 10 o'clock. Well, then in your book, you would note that the times before 10 o'clock are off limits. Maybe he has a standard meeting or recurring meeting, a meeting that happens every week on a Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Well, then you know you can't take appointments at Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Maybe he takes lunch every day at 1 o'clock. Well, then you know he's not going to be there. You're going to make sure you don't put any appointments for 1 o'clock. All of this is important to know. It's also important to make sure you give space in between appointments in the event that something runs longer than expected. There's not a clash and we're able to meet our obligations or meet persons timely in a timely manner, even if a previous appointment goes over time. And so it's important to note, how should we take appointments? When taking appointments, you have to make sure you take down dates and times that are available. Maybe the person wants to get an appointment and you don't have the appointment book. Well, take options. If the first option doesn't work, the second option may be available. Get as much information as possible. You want to keep a schedule of the individual. Like I said, maybe your boss takes lunch at 1, doesn't come in until 10, and has a recurring meeting at a certain time. You need to know this information so that you don't give somebody an appointment during a time that's off limits. You also need to know the person's schedule so that you don't double book or have 2 appointments at the exact same time for the same person. You want to make sure that you write appointments down. It's easy to get confused and double book if all appointments aren't written down in the same place. Sometimes you can use manual appointment records, which is an actual book, a physical book you're making. And what you want to do is you want to make sure everybody that's making appointments have the same book so that different individuals are not making appointments for the same time, and so that everybody's aware of what times are available. If it's an electronic appointment keeping, then it makes life a little bit easier Make sure you share the appointments with all of the relevant persons that need to know that information. Be prepared to give directions if necessary. Maybe somebody on the phone doesn't know exactly where they're going. You have to know how to give directions so that the person can be there at the time of their appointment. What's always suggested, confirm appointments the day before to make sure that you can put a listing together of all appointments for the person you're taking appointments for. It's helpful to know if there are how many appointments a person has each day, what times, so that that person can be ready for the appointment, even knowing who it's with. So if they have preparations to make, they can make those preparations. You're going to give a listing of appointments at the beginning of the day to that individual so that they have everything that they need. You're going to keep appointment books up to date and make sure that your writing is legible. Make sure we can read what's being written. Leave spaces between appointments, like I said, and send out reminders for individuals to make sure that everything is on target. If you confirm that a person is no longer able to make an appointment, what you can do is you can move individuals up and have a listing of persons that you can easily slot in the position of persons that's canceled to make life easier for the person that's being that you're scheduling appointments for. That makes life so much easier. Key information you need to request every time you're making an appointment. You want to make sure know the day and time of the appointment. You want to know the date of the appointment, the full name of the individual, a telephone contact so that you can contact them the day before to make sure the appointment is still on target, the length of time expected for the appointment, the details of the appointment, why do we need to have this appointment, and an address in the event that you need to go to a particular place for this appointment. Okay, so the role of a receptionist and administrative assistant is crucial in making sure that the appointment and the times of the individuals are being monitored and respected for those that we're taking our appointments for. That's it for administrative duties. Administrative duties really cover what administrative workers do, the tasks that they complete, and namely the tasks of a receptionist. A lot of administrative support workers support other aspects of the business, whether it be helping them with typing documents, helping them with preparing reports, helping them to do different tasks that need to be done in the office. The receptionist and secretary are key administrative support workers, and they normally are responsible for greeting guests and greeting visitors. They normally take appointments, and it's important that you get as much information as possible and that you confirm appointment times so that that process is smooth for your visitors. You want to make sure as office workers, you have certain key traits and you're willing to do as much as it takes to make the visitor feel well and to make sure that you take initiative so that all work needed to get done is being done. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, email address, Instagram, comments. It's all welcome. Have a good time and happy studying. Hi, Brenda here. I just want to take the time to say thank you for choosing this course. Thank you for choosing yourself and for preparing as you should for Office Procedures BGCSE. Look forward to more from me and Business Teacher Powell, and I look forward to seeing you in other classes. Bye.